You know, a lot of women I talk to tell me the same quiet worry. They do everything to stay clean, but there's still that little odor they can't explain. And it makes them feel uncomfortable, even ashamed. I want you to know this isn't something to be embarrassed about. It's often caused by little habits we don't even think twice about. So today, I want to gently walk you through 8 small changes you can make, right there in the bathroom, that might bring you real relief and a bit more peace and comfort every day. Let's start with something I hear more often than you'd think, using air fresheners and scented sprays in the bathroom. Many folks use them every day, thinking it helps cover up smells. But if you're noticing a lingering odor in your body, not the room, that's a different issue. These strong chemical scents can irritate the delicate tissues around your intimate areas, especially as we age and the skin becomes thinner and more sensitive. What feels like a quick fix can actually make things worse by triggering irritation or masking signs of an infection. When I first began working with older women, I met Dorothy, 73, from Michigan. She always kept her bathroom stocked with sprays, floral ones, lavender ones, you name it. She told me she'd started using them because she felt self-conscious around family, afraid they'd smell something off. But over time, she noticed more discomfort, a stinging feeling and, oddly enough, a stronger odor. It took a gentle conversation with her doctor to uncover the connection. The sprays were drying out her skin and masking an early infection. Once she stopped using them and began airing out the bathroom instead, her symptoms eased up within a couple of weeks. She told me she never thought something so simple could make such a difference. What often helps, especially in smaller bathrooms, is sticking with natural solutions. Open the window when you can or use a small fan. Even a bowl of baking soda placed near the toilet can quietly absorb unwanted smells without adding more chemicals into the air. You deserve to feel fresh without hurting your skin or hiding discomfort. Sometimes the kindest choice for your body is the gentlest one, and it starts with what you let into your space. Another habit that comes up a lot, especially when someone's in a rush or just wants to get it over with, is pushing too hard to pee. Now, I know it can feel like your bladder isn't working like it used to. Maybe the flow is slower, or it takes a little longer to get started. That's common with age. But forcing it, really straining, can put pressure on your pelvic muscles in ways they weren't meant to handle. Over time, that weakens them, and you might start noticing leaks, heaviness, or yes, even more odor, because your bladder isn't fully emptying. I remember working with a woman named Joyce, 69, from Tulsa. She told me she'd been pushing it out for years, especially if she was out in public and didn't want to spend too long in the restroom. But after a while, she started feeling like she couldn't quite hold it in anymore. She had tiny leaks when she laughed or sneezed, and that left her constantly worrying if someone could smell something. We talked about how muscles down there are just like any other. They get tired and strained if you don't treat them gently. Once Joyce started taking her time, sitting comfortably and letting her body do the work, not forcing anything, she noticed a difference. Her leaks didn't stop overnight, but she felt more in control, and that gave her peace of mind. One of the simplest things that helps is slowing down. When you're on the toilet, take a few deep breaths, relax your belly, let your body do what it needs to without any pushing. A little patience can make a big difference over time. Think of your body like an old friend. It still wants to work with you, not against you. You don't need to rush or push through things anymore. You've earned the right to move at your own pace. Something else that often gets overlooked is the kind of soap we use down there, especially those scented ones. They may smell nice and feel like part of a clean routine, but the truth is, they can actually do more harm than good. The skin and tissues around your intimate areas are very sensitive, and with age they become even more delicate. Scented soaps, even those labeled as gentle, can throw off the natural balance of bacteria and pH levels your body needs to stay healthy. That imbalance is one of the most common causes of discomfort, itching, and, yes, unwanted odor. Remember a client named Carol, 75, from Sacramento. She was proud of her hygiene routine, bathed daily, always used a fresh bar of lavender soap. But she started having constant irritation, like burning and dryness, and she was worried it meant something serious. Her doctor asked a few simple questions and quickly spotted the issue. Carol had been using strong soaps for years, not realizing they were stripping her skin's natural defenses. She felt relieved when she found out it wasn't a major health problem, and even more so when switching to just warm water and a pH-neutral cleanser cleared things up within a week. What often helps is simplifying. Use only warm water for daily washing, or choose an unscented pH-balanced cleanser made specifically for the intimate area. Avoid anything that smells like flowers or perfume. Those ingredients aren't meant for your skin down there. You deserve comfort without complications. Sometimes the most caring thing you can do is less, not more, and your body will thank you for that gentle choice. Here's something simple that gets missed more often than you'd expect: not washing after a bowel movement. Now, I understand that for many folks, especially as we get older, it can feel like too much effort. Maybe it's hard to move around, or it just never used to be part of the routine. But when we don't rinse or gently clean the area afterward, even tiny traces of waste can stay behind. That leads to bacteria spreading to places it shouldn't be, and over time, it causes odor, irritation, or even infections that are much harder to treat later on. I had a conversation once with Linda, 70, from North Carolina. She said growing up her family never used water, just toilet paper, and that's what she stuck with all her life. But she started noticing a persistent smell she couldn't get rid of, even after a shower. She thought maybe it was just part of getting older, but once we talked through it, she started using a small squeeze bottle of warm water after using the bathroom. Within a few days, the difference was night and day. She said she felt fresher, more confident, and didn't feel like she had to rush to take another shower every few hours. One of the easiest things you can do is keep a gentle method nearby: a plastic bottle with warm water, or even unscented baby wipes without alcohol. If you can, consider adding a bidet attachment to your toilet. It's not expensive and can make life a lot easier. You don't need to feel embarrassed about needing a little extra care. Your comfort matters, and it's okay to choose the simple steps that help you feel clean and confident every day. Another quiet habit that often goes unnoticed is wearing synthetic underwear. Those silky, stretchy fabrics that might feel nice at first but don't let your skin breathe. As we age, our skin becomes more sensitive, and the area around the genitals is especially delicate. Synthetic materials can trap heat and moisture, creating a warm, damp environment where bacteria and yeast thrive. That's one of the reasons why even women who bathe regularly still experience odor or irritation. It's not about cleanliness, it's about airflow and fabric. A woman I worked with, named Joan, 66, from Denver, told me she always bought pretty underwear, satin, lace, tight-fitting. She said it made her feel put together, and that mattered to her, especially after losing her husband. But she began noticing a sour smell and occasional itching, even when she kept herself clean. We talked it through, and I gently suggested trying cotton underwear for a while. She resisted at first, said it felt too plain, but after a week of wearing soft, breathable cotton, she called me and laughed, saying, "I can't believe I feel this much better just from changing my underwear." Her confidence came back, and so did her comfort. What usually makes a big difference is choosing 100% cotton underwear, soft, light, and easy on your skin. Make sure it fits comfortably, not too tight, and try changing it at least once a day, more often if needed. Your skin deserves to breathe just like you do. And comfort, real, lasting comfort, always looks better than anything fancy. You're allowed to feel good in your own body every single day. One small thing that makes a big difference: drinking enough water. I know that might sound too simple, maybe even a little boring, but hear me out. As we get older, our sense of thirst can fade, and many folks cut back on fluids to avoid trips to the bathroom. But when you don't drink enough water, your urine becomes darker and more concentrated, and that alone can create a strong, unpleasant smell. It can also irritate your bladder and make you feel like you constantly need to go even when you don't. I remember talking to Frances, 69, from New Mexico. She told me she only drank coffee and sweet tea throughout the day, maybe a sip of water here and there. She didn't want to be running to the toilet all the time, as she put it, but she'd also started noticing that even after bathing, there was a lingering smell that embarrassed her. We went over her routine, and I gently asked her to try replacing just one of her teas with a glass of water, and then slowly add one more each day. Within a week, she said she felt clearer, her urine wasn't as dark, and the odor had nearly disappeared. She hadn't realized how much dehydration was affecting her whole body. One of the easiest ways to help your bladder and reduce odor is simply to sip water throughout the day. Not huge glasses at once, just small, steady sips. Aim for about 6 to 8 cups, unless your doctor says otherwise. Your body is like a garden. It needs gentle, steady watering to stay fresh and balanced. Even something as small as a glass of water is a gift of kindness to yourself. Something that gets brushed aside too often is ignoring signs of infection, like itching, burning, or a change in smell. I get it. Many women feel shy or think it's just part of getting older. But these little changes are your body's way of waving a red flag. Infections like UTIs or bacterial imbalances don't always cause pain at first, but they can absolutely lead to a strong, sour odor, and if left untreated, things can get worse. The truth is, these problems are common, but they're also treatable if we catch them early. I once worked with a woman named Marlene, 74, from Pittsburgh. She told me she'd noticed a burning feeling every time she peed, but she figured it would go away on its own. A couple of weeks later, she couldn't sleep from the discomfort, and the smell had gotten stronger. When she finally saw her doctor, it turned out she had a urinary tract infection that had spread. She needed antibiotics and a few days of rest. But more than that, she felt frustrated that she hadn't trusted her gut sooner. She said, "If I'd spoken up earlier, I could have saved myself a lot of worry." What often helps is paying close attention to small changes, like pain, itching, or a new smell, and calling your doctor if something feels off. Don't wait or second-guess yourself. Your body deserves quick, kind care. You don't have to tough it out. Noticing when something feels wrong is not weakness, it's wisdom. You've lived long enough to know when it's time to speak up, and you're worth listening to. And finally, one small habit that makes a big difference is how you wipe after using the toilet. Most people never think twice about it, but wiping from back to front, even just occasionally, can bring bacteria from the rectal area into your urinary tract. That can lead to infections, irritation, and yes, that lingering odor many women worry about. It's such a tiny motion, but over time it can cause big problems, especially when our immune systems aren't as strong as they used to be. I had a sweet patient named Brenda, 67, from Jacksonville. Her granddaughter, who's a nurse, was visiting one week and gently asked her, "Grandma, how do you wipe?" Brenda laughed and said, "The way I've always done it. What do you mean?" It turned into a funny conversation, but it led to something important. Once Brenda started wiping from front to back, she noticed fewer UTIs and less discomfort. It wasn't something she had ever connected before. She later told me, "I thought I was just unlucky with infections. Turns out I just needed to change direction." One of the easiest ways to protect your body is to always wipe from front to back. Use soft toilet paper. Take your time and never rush, especially if you're dealing with arthritis or limited movement. It's amazing how something so small can offer so much comfort. A tiny change like this is an act of love. Quiet. Simple and just for you. You deserve that kind of care every day. If even one of these tips made you pause and think, that's already a step toward taking better care of yourself. I'd love to hear what stood out to you. Feel free to share in the comments. And if this felt helpful, go ahead and subscribe. Maybe tap the little bell so you don't miss what's next. You are not alone. You are stronger than you think. And every day you choose to care for yourself, even in the smallest ways, is a day your body feels your love.